my peeps. This is part 2 of From the Ghetto to Ramsey. Now, I hope you watched part 1. I must admit, I watched it back. It was emotional, even to me. And it's my own story. But I thought before I get deep into part 2, I just need to clarify a few things, okay? When I say ghetto, I just mean an area that is populated by a minority, okay? Ghetto don't necessarily mean run down. Because believe it or not, even though it was the ghetto, most of those homes were owned. But those black folks, we owned our houses back then in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. And these houses were passed down generation after generation. Big families, and they still live to this day in the same houses. A lot of them still ain't even left the neighborhood. I think some of them ain't even got a passport. Most of them do, but some don't, okay? So, remember, we've come back from Mexico. I had a wonderful time. Now, when you're an exchange student, usually what happens is you live with 3 different families. You move around just so you can get a little taste of it all. I stayed with the same family because our bond was just that tight and that close. I didn't want to leave them. They didn't want me to go. So I stayed for a whole year with that family. And as I said before, they are still my family. So when I got back to America, I was telling y'all about the high school. I think I mentioned a little bit of the high school, didn't I? Of how it was kind of really, it was a culture shock for me. Because like I said, I was used to going to school, going to my classes, even though I didn't go to school for a year while I was in Mexico. So when I came back, I was ready to get back into it. And at the school that I went to, I'm funny like in the sense that I never cut a class. Nope, I didn't. I didn't have to because I enjoyed my lessons. I enjoyed school. However, there was a time when I needed to get out of a lesson. It was a math class, okay? I was never very good at maths. Still ain't too good at numbers. But that's another story. But the only way you could legitimately get out of going to class is you had to go to what they considered a college conference. Which means, because I was a senior, it meant that we were looking at universities and colleges to go to. So I quickly ran downstairs, looked on the board and said, all right, are there any college conferences on today that I can go to? Therefore, I didn't have to go and sit my math exam. And I looked up and there was this one. And it was this college. I ain't never heard of it. But you know what? I didn't really care. Because it meant I could get out of class. So I turned up to this college conference. And I listened to these people talk. And they sounded nice. And I thought, yeah, it sounds cool. And they were saying, oh, you seem like the perfect candidate for this type of a school. And I'm sure you would get a full scholarship and blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. So I said, all right, give me the application. So they gave me the application. And I took it home and I looked at it and it looked okay. So I called my friend Robin over and I said, Robin, I need you to fill this application in for me. Just the handwriting, because my handwriting is atrocious. And I said, because they need to at least be able to read it. Let's face it, there were no computers back there, kids, because I know there's a lot of y'all sitting there thinking, well, why didn't you just type it up? We didn't have no computer. Barely had a typewriter. So we had to write it. So I got my friend Robin to write out my application for me. I told her what to say. And I sent it off. I ain't even think nothing of it. Next thing I know, I get this letter through the post telling me that I have been accepted for a full scholarship to go to this school. So I thought, and I'll be honest with y'all, I only applied to one college. That was it. So I said, well, they want me.
I didn't know that.
Yes, they want me. I'll go. And the thing that attracted me the most was that it was in Indiana. Now, I know Indiana is far. It was like a little hick town, but I didn't investigate it. All I knew, it was 12 hours away from home. And I wanted to get away from home. I'd already spent a year in Mexico, so I was used to doing my own thing. I was not used to being told what, okay, yes, I was still a child, but I was 18, you know what I mean? I was a woman. So I was happy to accept it. So I just accepted it. I wrote back and said, yeah, I'll come. Didn't even think about it. Then one day, I'm sitting in my bedroom and I can hear my mother. She in the back in her bedroom and she got this letter and she got that. She did the reading. I didn't do no reading. And she going, ooh, what? Well, I'll be, Sharita, well, girl, you sure have shocked me. And I'm thinking, what? What is she talking about? She went, well, Sharita, I never in my wildest dreams imagined that the one and only college that you would pick would be a Quaker College. Well, I nearly passed out. I said, what? She said, yes, you've chosen to go to a Quaker College. No smoking, no drinking, no partying, no nothing. I nearly had a heart attack. I went, She go, too late now, because you ain't applied nowhere else. And you getting up out of here come September, because she was ready for me to go just as much as I was ready. So I then took this book off of her and started reading. I was thinking, oh, Lord have mercy. All the restrictions, all these rules. But you know what? I'm good. I'm good when it comes to change and changing things. So I said, that's okay. I'll go. If I don't like it, I'll leave in a year. People do that. Well, I turned up to this college, and this college was called Earlham College in Richmond, Indiana. Well, hand on heart, yes, there. Hand on heart, it was the best decision I ever made. The college was fabulous. Okay, it had its restrictions. It had all sorts of things that we weren't supposed to. Put it like this. I used to have to, because, you know, when I got there, I joined every club, became a cheerleader, got with my little posse, and, you know, some of my best friends are still from college. Well, we used to have arguments over what band and what we were going to do on a Friday night. Half of them wanted to do, and I'm not lying, Morris dancing. I didn't even know what a daggone Morris was. Whereas I wanted to get people like the Ohio Players and funk music to the college. So, but you know what? 50-50. We changed things. We had funk music, we had rock music. And the thing about that college, I think it's what prepared me for England. Because we didn't really have a good football team, but we had an excellent soccer team. We also had cricket. I didn't know what a daggone cricket was. To me, a cricket is a little insect. You know, a cricket, little beep, 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 beep. But no, they played cricket. We also had the Morris dancers. We also had the maypole, and I danced around the maypole. We had all sorts of things. We had a wonderful gospel choir. But the one thing that school taught me, the thing about the Quakers, which I love, is love and respect. And they taught you how to basically be kind, which is nice. And also things were done by consensus, which means everybody kind of has to buy into it. You know, it's not just majority rules. No, it's everybody rules. And they would sit and talk it out until you come to a decision. I also like going to the church. I mean, because our church is, okay, I'm used to, Lord have mercy, hallelujah. But you go to a Quaker one, it was pretty hard for me at first because they sit in silence. So, I mean, no disrespect. But if I'd had a hard night the night before partying, I needed somewhere to go just sit and be quiet. That's what we did. So we would just sit and we would listen. And then if you had something to say, you could get up and talk about it. But if you didn't, so often I'd go to some of these Quaker services and sit there for about an hour and nobody said nothing and then we leave. I was like, that's church. I like it. I like it. Also at my college, I was one of them ones back there in the 70s. Y'all remember streaking? You know what streaking is? I know you young people don't know what a streak is. It's when you take your clothes off and you run across. Well, child, I was one of them streakers. One of them, I was like one of the only black ones that did it, but I didn't care. I just disrobed and they'd go, streak! And then we run across the heart. That was fun times. The other good thing about this school is, sometimes you are made to do something in your life. I believe that there's different paths you take, but then there's certain paths that you wouldn't naturally go down there, but for some reason you turn and you do, because it's the right way to go. Now, when we were young and in school, living back in the ghetto, every summer my mother would send us to College Settlement Farm Camp. Yeah, that's what it was. And America camps are big. But this was a camp that we would go to. We got subsidized, sponsored, paid for. And we would go to these camps, and I loved going to camp. For one, it got me out of the house, got me around new people, got to meet other people. But my childhood, which I didn't go into too much, but it was traumatic. I had a lot of issues and problems growing up. Lots of things happened to me. And I wasn't in a position where there was no one that I felt I could talk to. However, at this camp, there were these camp counselors, and they were a young married couple, Prue and Randy. And I would sit for hours talking to Prue, and I would get all of my anxieties off my chest, and she just helped me, and it was just wonderful that I met this person. Now, I say this because when I got to college, to university, I realized that I still had a lot of issues, a lot of problems, things that I needed dealing with. So I decided that one day it just felt like I was having a nervous breakdown. And my father, I rang my father, and I was crying, and I was this, and I was all upset, and I didn't know what was wrong. So he rang the university and arranged for me to see a counselor. So I went along to this counselor, and I sat down, and I began these therapy sessions, which were great, because I just got to sit and talk. And while I was talking in one of my therapy sessions, the woman turned around to me when I mentioned that I had gone to this camp, and I mentioned the name of these people. She went, "You got to be joking." And I went, "What do you mean I got to be joking?" "Yes, I did go to this camp." And she said, "Well, you do realize that these two people that you've just talked about, they are alumni. They went to my college." I just couldn't believe it. The people that I felt saved my life when I was a youngster had attended the exact same university that I ended up going to. How small is this world? It's very small. But, it all joins up. Now, while I was at college as well, it put me on the road to discovery of theater, because I love theater. And I decided to major in theater. And as part of that, they said that you could take a semester off to go and explore. And I decided I wanted to do a semester in New York. So, but I had said to them, there's only one place that I really, really want to work. And this is because when I love children, I used to babysit all the time. And while I was babysitting, there was this program that used to come on television. And it was a brand new show, and it was aimed at young people, and it was called Sesame Street. Y'all remember Sesame Street? Bert and Ernie? Well, I had said that when I grow up, I'm going to work at Sesame Street. And lo and behold, I did my summer internship at Sesame Street in New York. Got myself an apartment with me and my girlfriend, and we had the apartment, and then I went on and I worked at Sesame Street. I worked in the research department, where we would basically just sit around and I would play with the little children, and we'd have all sorts of different activities available to them. But then there would be a television on in the corner with Sesame Street on. And our job was to observe and see which children wanted to just play with the bricks or color, or which children would turn around and go to the TV because there was something on the TV that interested them in a learning way. And it was fabulous. I got to meet Bert and Ernie and Big Bird. All of them back then. It was fabulosa. So, I did my year and I did my semester in New York. Also, while I was at Earlham College, they had an exchange program. Because you know me, I like me an exchange. So, but this time, we were going to Europe, to France. Yes, off to France I went. And now let me tell you this story, because I'll tell you, as they say, I swanted John. There were three of us that went to, three black girls who went to Rodez in the south of France that year with a group of other students. And when we got there, now everybody is paired up with a family when you get there, right? And you know, most of the families were in the center of town. So we get there, time to get collected. And what happens? Me and my best friend Justine, she and I were put in a car and they said, we're going to drive you to your house. Well, child, we left the town. We're driving and driving and driving. I'm like, but town's back there. Oh no, they stuck us out in the countryside. Do I look like a country girl? But I said, I guess they wanted to get us far, far away. Because there were no other blacks in this town either. So when we get there, and I'm like, well, where's my family? My family was on holiday. So I had to stay with my friend Justine and her family. Now, they were lovely, lovely, lovely people. Lovely people. But a week, I'm there for a whole week. Everybody else settled into their families except me. So I had walked over and seen the house, and it's a big house. I'm like, okay, this is all right. I can get used to this. Even though we were out there in the boondocks, we had to hitchhike into town. So we're sitting there, and I'm having fun. Next thing you know, week's over, and my family come back. So I was all excited because my family were coming home, and you know me, I love to cook. So even back then, I loved to cook. So I cooked up a cake to bake. I baked a cake to give to my family for when they arrived. Well, they came in, and we're sitting all around the table, and the woman walked through the door. Well, child, this woman looked like she had seen not just a ghost, but the Holy Ghost. She went white, and her face was just like, she got all nervous. Like, I was like, what's the matter? I said, look, my bags are upstairs. I'm ready to go. Didn't speak no French yet. And she's like, no. House cold, freezing cold. I'm like, what? I don't care. I put a blanket on. So they like, no. One more day. So I'm sitting there thinking, what the heck is going on? These people don't want me to come to their house. That's obvious. So I didn't go. So I sat there at the house and wondered. I was really upset, thinking, what's the matter? So the family that I was with, Justine's family, they said, well, the problem is they had requested a white boy. Well, guess what? Boy, I'm not. And I ain't white either. So we had a problem. So I thought, you know what? I can fix this. So I went on over to the house. I just walked my butt on over there the next day. I knocked on the door. And she opened the door. She was like, oh, all nervous like. So she went, I'm like, oh my God. So next thing I know, she had this little girl, little daughter. She's about 3 years old, more than. This girl, when she opened the door, the girl went, ah! Monster! I'm thinking like this. Where's the monster? Because I know how to play with kids. And she was like, ah! So Annie had gone inside. The woman, she was all flustered, didn't know what the hell to do. The little girl standing there screaming. Then she like, monster! Noir! Black monster! Because they didn't have no TV. See, she'd never even seen a black person in her life. So I got down on my knees, got down to her level. I took her hand and I stroked and I went, chocolate. See? It don't come off. And she was like, the girl's eyes got all big like. So then I only knew one song, friends, and I was going, Fela Jacques. And then I went, do me boo. Well, the little girl fell out laughing. She just fell down laughing. Then she kept going all up there, and then she was touching the hair and touching the skin. By the time the mother returned to the door, I had Mullen on my lap. Arms was all around my neck, kissing me all over my face. Mommy, let her stay. Let her stay. The mother didn't have a choice. She had no choice. Because I'm sitting there like, Mullen, we're going to playing with the child. Because that's how you do it. You get with them kids. And anywhere you go, you get with the kids. Get them kids on your side. Because adults can be stupid sometimes. So, I moved in. Well, Lord have mercy. I knew why she didn't want me to move in. She was, I think she must have been early 40s. I'm in my 20s, okay? Because, you know, I'm in college. You graduate when you're 21. So I was 20. So I was a woman. I was fly. I was ready. She in her early 40s, but she had recently remarried. And her husband was 30. So she had herself a little bit of a toy boy. So I think she was worried that I was going to snatch her man. I ain't want her man. Plus, this is the first time I lived in a house that were vegetarians. Good googa mugga. She was vegetarian. She was all of the earth and of the this and of the that. But them poor kids, they like some meat. So she allowed me, because I said to her, look, I will respect your wishes. I won't cook no meat in your pots, but I'm going out and buy myself a frying pan, and I will cook for myself. So every time I cook dinner for myself, those kids would come running. I'd be frying up chicken and pork chops and all sorts. They loved it. And then come to find out, here she trying to be all Miss Ubbly for the man. He was eating my chicken too. They all wanted to eat my chicken. She the only one that didn't. But that's okay. Then, I had a wonderful time in France. I loved it. I really loved it. I had a good time. So then, when I went back to college, poor thing, because they fell in love with me, they went and requested next year a black female. Now, I said, you don't go be putting no requests out there. See, this is where they got in trouble the first time, asking for a white male. Now they want a black female. And Lord have mercy, the black female that they got, I wouldn't have wanted. She tore them up. I think they kicked her out after 3 months because she was just too much. Plus, because I knew she was going to kick off the fact that she lived out there in the countryside. She wasn't going to be putting up with that. So listen, as it were, don't go request it. You do not be putting down what you want. Go for the heart. Check a person out for the heart, not the color of their skin or their gender. Because they might be transgender, so you don't know. All right? Get it right. Let's get it right. So, I finished Stormy Katrina. So, I finished France. And it was...
Where did you get transgender from?
Because she asked for a male and got me. Then she asked for a female and she got a bitch. Sorry, but that's what she got.
Can we just clarify that if people are transgender, it's completely cool?
It is. That's what I'm telling you. That's why I'm saying you don't know what you're going to get. So don't go asking for nothing because it's the heart. You can be male, female, trans, bi, whatever. A person is a person. So don't go asking for nothing special. Just get what you get and try and live with it. So, I did France. I did Sesame Street. And then I graduated. Let's get to graduation, okay? How many minutes we up to?
You got 5 minutes.
You joking?
24 minutes you've been rambling on for.
Dang, going that went quick. So, the college years. Earlham College was fantastic. It was wonderful. I loved it. I graduated, and when I graduated, it was so funny because I got an award, and they gave me a special little award, and this award was given to the person who participated in the most activities in the history of the school. Now, you know when you get your yearbook, usually you got about that much where it just says your name and a few, maybe you get about 3 or 4 lines of activities. Can you find my yearbook there? Yeah, we'll give it here. Yeah. So, oh no, that's the 75. You need to find 77.
Oh,
I think it's gray color.
Yeah, this is it, 77.
Yeah, this is the year I graduated. Okay? Now, I'm just going to show you this bit. Just here at the back. So I can show you what I mean. So.
I can see you mopped it off.
Yes. So, the average, like right here, that's one person, that's another person, that's another person, that's another. So they're really
You
quite.
need to come a bit closer, Mum.
They're really quite short. Okay, wait a minute. So look at that. Can you see how short they are for the names and everything?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you get to me, and I took up a whole block, and that was me. So let me just see here what I did. Let me see here. I did. It says here, Sharita the Countess Thomas from Devon, Pennsylvania. Fine arts student. Cheerleading. Dorm president. ARS representative. I don't know what that is, but I did it. Hall convener. French intensive program. CLCA New York. That was my New York project, art project. Administrative council. Community council. Director of Day of Absence. Yes, I directed this play called Day of Absence. Intramural volleyball. Well, I know I didn't know volleyball, but I must have. Volleyball. Revelations. That was a gospel choir. A BLAC member. That was the black member. A tutor at the Townsend Center because I used to work in the community a lot. Eve. Oh, yes. And I worked at Richmond State Hospital. That was the state hospital for, what do you call it? I don't want to be politically incorrect. The insane asylum.
People with mental health issues.
That's the one. I work with people. Well, I don't know. Things change. But I work with teenagers and young people with mental health issues, and I used to go and mentor them. I loved that job. And then I was part of the Mantle member, Ceremony in the Dark Old Men, the servant. I made it without you. Oh, and then I put, and this is what I said. I made it without you, Justine and Anne.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were my two best friends, and they both did. Yeah, and they're my daughter's godmothers, and they deserted me. They both left me. They both did 2 years and booked. I stayed. There goes my yearbook. So, I'm going to end part 2. I will see you back at part 3.
What happens in part 3?
And part 3 is how I came to England. I know you want to know that. So, I'm going to leave you with some peace, love, and a lot of soul from the mama.